Have you wondered how the Bills are going to do next season? Well, so have I. So I've made this video to show you how well I think that they can do. In week 1, they play the Baltimore Ravens. I personally think that while the Bills beat the Ravens in the playoffs last year, I believe that the Bills play better in the playoffs, so I think that the Ravens will win this game. They had many picks, and they have Lamar and Derrick Henry for an elite combo. I think this will be a close game, but I believe the number 1 ranked offense last year can barely pull it out for a win for the Baltimore Ravens. In week 2, they play the Jets, and I think that this will be an easy win for the Bills. The Jets' starting quarterback is literally Justin Fields. If they expect him to be that good, they're crazy. They had a good defense last year, but are lacking offensive talent as they just lost Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams. This will be a big loss for the Jets. They will also be playing the Bills on Josh Allen, although Josh Allen needs some offensive talent around him because right now it's basically just him hard carrying the offense. In week 3, they play the Dolphins. I think that they will win this game without a doubt in my mind, especially since this game is in Buffalo, where the Dolphins can play slightly worse due to temperature, but it is still early in the season and will probably not affect the game much. The Dolphins struggle to remain healthy, especially their star quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, which could affect the game, but either way, a decisive win for the Buffalo Bills. In week 4, they play the New Orleans Saints, which are pretty bad, and their starting quarterback is literally Tyler Shough. It doesn't help the Saints when many people think that they will get the number 1 overall pick next season. Also, their defense isn't getting any younger, which will not help against the Bills. A big win for the Bills, and honestly, might be a blowout. Now, we have a lot more games to get to, but before we continue, comment down below if you think that the Bills will make it to the Super Bowl this year. Honestly, I think that there's a decent chance that they could do it. But I want to hear your thoughts, so comment them down below. Now, let's get back to the video. In week 5, they have another divisional matchup, but this time against the New England Patriots. I know that the Patriots have Drake May and their new draft pick in Will Campbell, but they will end up falling to the Bills. The Bills are one of the most explosive and exciting teams ever. Definitely a good game for the Buffalo Bills. Week 6 holds the biggest competition since week 1 for the Bills, the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons have a strong offense with Bijan Robinson and Drake London. Not only that, but they drafted 2 powerful edge rushers that will help a lot. Is this enough to beat the Bills, though? I believe that it will be close, but the Bills could take the edge here, but only because I think Josh Allen can lead a strong offense who will score lots of points against the Falcons, which will assist them with winning the game. In week 7, they have a bye week. So, I want to know, comment down below if you think that Josh Allen will win MVP next year. In week 8, they play the Carolina Panthers, but will they snag a win here? The Carolina Panthers, in my eyes, will greatly improve next year, especially with a better Bryce Young. Although I think that the Bills will still snag the dub here because I think that they are just the better team. In week 9, I think that they could face their biggest competition yet, the Kansas City Chiefs. Although that may no longer be true, Travis Kelce is aging fast and is no longer in his prime, and Patrick Mahomes put up one of the worst Super Bowl performances ever, which raised questions about his offensive line. Overall, I think that the Bills could finally have the chance to beat Patrick Mahomes here and in the playoffs. Overall, a win for the almighty Bills. In week 10, they play the Dolphins again, but can they beat them again? This time, the game is played in early November, so will it be harder for the Dolphins? It doesn't matter because this time the game is in Miami, although injuries could be more prevalent here as the season has lasted longer, so there has been more chance for injury. Not only that, but the Bills could use this weakness against them since they drafted many defenders in the draft because of their great trust in Josh Allen. They could hold the Dolphins back while they score points after points. Overall, a huge win for the Buffalo Bills. In week 11, they play the Buccaneers. Now, this is the same team that beat the Eagles and the Lions last year. So, could they beat the Bills this year? Honestly, I don't think so, because of the injury that the Buccaneers have sustained. Their injury record is not very good, and they're aging quite quickly. So, I'm going to have to give this one to the Buffalo Bills. In week 12, they play the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans have an amazing quarterback in C.J. Stroud, but will it be enough to beat the Buffalo Bills? C.J. Stroud had a down year last year, but I think the better offensive line, he can definitely succeed more, but they might be more injured at this point, especially against the Bills. I don't think it's enough, so I think this is another win for the Buffalo Bills. In week 13, they have to play the Steelers. The Steelers are pretty good last year. Can they clutch out a win here? The Steelers may have lost George Pickens, but they have gained Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf, which will be major additions to their powerful offense. They also have a star defense, but it's aging fast. So in my eyes, I'm going to have to give this one to the Buffalo Bills. In Week 14, they have to play the Bengals. The Bengals are a spectacular team led by Joe Burrow, but do they have the power to beat the Bills? Last year, they struggled with defense, and I don't think that they improved it much over the offseason. I think it's going to continue to play badly. I think it's going to be a high-scoring, competitive game, but I'm going to give this one to the Buffalo Bills. Here they play the Patriots again, and I think that they will once again dominate the New England Patriots. I don't think that it will be much different from their first game, so I'm going to give this one to the Buffalo Bills yet again. In Week 16, they play the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns quarterback room is an absolute mess, and so is their whole team, really. They only have stability in their defensive line, especially with Myles Garrett, who's an absolute piece. But overall, I'm going to have to give this one to the Buffalo Bills. In Week 17, they play the reigning Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. But can they clutch out a win here? The Eagles have a star running back in Saquon Barkley, which leads to the spectacular run game that Philadelphia has. Philadelphia also has an immensely powerful defense, and so I'm going to have to give this one to the reigning Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, for the Bills' second loss of the season. In Week 18, they play the New York Jets, which I think that they're winning for sure. No challenge. Well, I think the Buffalo Bills are going to go 15-2. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you, and see you later.